Hello, hello. Joe Withrow here. I'm broadcasting from my solar shed in the world headquarters of the Phoenician League Investment Strategy Group. We're way up in the mountains of Virginia here. And we'd like to wish a very happy 90th birthday to a great man and an absolute legend, Dr. Ron Paul.
Happy birthday, Dr. Paul.
I tear up a little bit thinking about it, which really is not my nature, but I define my life as before and after I found Dr. Paul. The man completely altered the course of my life in incredible ways that really I could never have possibly imagined. So I was back in my 20s during the campaigns, and I was living just an aimless, inauthentic life with no real goals, no sense of purpose, and certainly no first principles. And like so many others my age at the time, I worked a soulless corporate job and really just lived for the weekend. Because after 17 years of government run education, both public high school and public university, that's just what I thought life was. So then I decided one day that maybe I ought to try to be an adult. And because of my conditioning, that meant tuning into the Republican debates to decide who should be the next president of the United States. Of course, it did not occur to me at first that I knew absolutely nothing about anything important and that I was woefully unqualified to make any such judgments. But then this older gentleman on stage started talking about things like liberty and gold and Austrian economics. And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? I've never heard any of this stuff before. So then I go look up Ron Paul on the computer and I'm reading through. Huh. So he ran for president on the Libertarian Party ticket in 1988. And I read that and I'm like, what in the world is the Libertarian Party? I had no idea that third parties existed in this country. After 17 years of government education, no idea. So that was my wake up call. It was the harsh reality that I knew absolutely nothing of substance. And that sparked this intense curiosity that prompted me to spend the next 2 years doing nothing but reading and actually trying to learn things that are fundamental to how the world works and why. And I mean, we went all in on the campaign and it was so much fun and it was so meaningful to so many of us. But really, it was the message and more importantly, the principles and the example that Dr. Paul set that fundamentally changed me as a human being. So today, I live the life that I envisioned after my Ron Paul awakening. I've got two beautiful children and they homeschool using the Ron Paul curriculum. And it's funny because in the last several years, homeschooling has caught fire in this country. And I've had quite a few people come to me just in my local area here and ask about what curriculum we use. And every time I smile from ear to ear and I tell them we use the Ron Paul curriculum. Now, most of the time they get that look of familiarity in their eye. And then they ask me, they say, isn't that the old guy who ran for president a while back? And I look at them and I say, yeah, the one they tried to tell us was crazy. And they nod and they say, yeah, I remember him. That guy was right about a lot of things. And I just chuckle and I nod. And then I can't help but bring it up. So I say, I wonder when the Mitt Romney curriculum's going to come out. And then everybody just laughs because they know the answer. So, Dr. Paul, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your legacy is going to carry on for generations because these principles took root in millions of younger people. And we're now sowing those seeds into our children's generation. So I promise, man, the idea of liberty will never die. God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Paul.